Thomas Wake Movement 2020 and beyond. Here we will be going through the Masonic, Illuminati, I don't even like using that word, esoteric symbolism, dark occult symbolism threaded through the Super Bowl halftime show. Now, one of the first things that they do in our first shot, and we're using this for education purposes, so don't come at me with no copyright, whatever. Okay, so we have the top of the stadium is a square-like symbol, like a cube. And into that cube, we have fountains pouring in. The cube is a symbol of Saturn, who is Kronos, who is like the cube, like the tesseract, the cube within the cube, that eats its own children. And so in history, we have sacrifices of children through the star of Remfram, passing your children, your firstborn usually, through the fire. Here he is over here on the right side of the screen, to sacrifice to Kronos. We have Thanos, which is very much like the sacrifice of to keep the balance. Kronos, Father Time. And now, to jump into the astrology of right now, what we have is Saturn conjuncting Pluto. This is in the sign of Capricorn, which is the sign of the Devil card in the tarot. Now let's look at the chart for the moment. I know if you want to get into this, this is going to be long. I'm not even going to lie to you. So here we have a Saturn. See, here's the cross with it's the snake usually. They abbreviated it. And then we have Pluto, the lord of the underworld of Hades, coming together. This is the goat. This is black Saturn coming together with fiery Mars in the dark realm, Scorpio. We also happen to have Jupiter there right now. So that's going to be a theme that we're going to want to look for. Underworld, dark, stuff like that. Red and black. That's a foreshadowing to the black. So here is the cube within the cube, and then it's like a void. It's Abaddon, which we'll get to in Revelations 9:11. I didn't even mean to say that number together because that gets me pinned. So they had as here's in Revelation Pine 11. They had it as a king over them, the angel of the abyss, whose name in Hebrew is Abaddon, and in Greek, Apollyon. That is, destroyer. In Hinduism, we have Shiva, the destroyer. There she is with a Titan in charge of water. And then we have Saturn eating Neptune, which it devours Neptune. And it's like the dance. Here we have fire, Shiva, the destroyer. Okay, I just want to show you some things before we got into the video. So here we have the cube within the cube. Let me remind you that at World Trade Tower Center, we also have the cube within the cube symbolism. And World Trade Tower Center will come up because this is what Beyonce comes out on top of. Or World Trade Tower 1, One World Order, my friends. It's so ridiculous how they're putting this right in front of our faces. Because cubism plays a big part of this. See, on the top of Saturn, we have the cube. We also have the ring, this perfect circle. We also have the knot of the Freemasons. See the rope and the knot. And when we get into the video in a couple of seconds, we'll see the rope and the knot. It's how you bind something on earth. How you take a vow. You can bind yourself. That's how you make a pact with our friend Saturn, also known as Satan, also known as the black cube of the Tesseract, the cube within the cube. No, let's.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Pepsi Super.
There we have the swoosh, which is like the ring of Saturn, separating the red from the blue, the masculine from the feminine. We want to be a block in that and put us into an everlasting circle of frickin' this maze.
Super Bowl 54 halftime show.
5 to the 4. V. And then you have the 1. There's a 4. Which is 5 to the 4 is 9. 9's an end, is death. 1 is the alpha, 9 the omega, the beginning and the end. So this is going to have lots of ending energy to it. And then we have the red shift and the blue shift, the male and the feminine being separated from coming together.
Oh.
This whole occult ritual happens within a circle, but they start from the square because you want to circle the square.
The National Football League welcomes you to the Pepsi Super Bowl 54 halftime show.
You want to circle the square. That is feminizing the masculine, masculizing, is that a word? The feminine. You want to turn the white to the black, the black to the white, the checkerboard that we're on. There's your. See, they have beautiful symbolism here that's very esoteric and deep, but they hide it and they do something called Sabbatean Frankism. And we have it alive in, what's that Russian priest? We have a song about him who, like, it's doing bad things to bring out the good in it. It's a reversal, it's a flippage, it's a reflection type thing, an inversal. Okay, so we have Shakira dressed in red. Red is fire, passion, the root chakra, being stuck in a lower energy of passion, survival, fear, ultimately, chasing your desires and your passions. And here she's doing a dance of Shiva, which is like a destruction dance. And red has to do with like hell, which is where Capricorn, the goat, dwells. Here we have not one white woman on the stage. Maybe they just can't dance like that. I don't know. But here they're all dressed in red. Lady in red. We have like the lady dressed in scarlet, that kind of Babylon theme. Here we have always the pyramids. Here we have a lot of crotch in our face. And it's hard for me to be upset about that. But what it does for men, when you just have a man who's jerking off all the time, excuse my language, you lose your energy, the sacred energy. And you just give it away to your sock or some bullshit. And so we have constantly them trying to steal that energy from us. And there's other energy that they're trying to steal from us. And they're trying to throw it in that black freaking abyss of Abaddon. But the song is lit, though. And we have to be careful. So they have lots of crosses, lots of X's. That's a symbol of Saturn we'll get to see. Now, we have to be careful for copyright infringement. Now listen to the lyrics. Pull up. The empires of the world unite. Now it's not like this let's all get together and sing Kumbaya. It's a let us all together and be slaves. There's a dark side to Saturn. Let the empires of the world unite. Where's my echo? And then she talks about the stars and the heavens, which I love, being an astrologer.
And the stars make love to the universe.
And the stars make love to the universe. Okay, so we're at 134. Then we go to Led Zeppelin, who comes in, who is a dark occultist who like bought Aleister Crowley's home, like on Loch Ness Lake. Aleister Crowley, let's just bring him up. The lemma. So he's all about doing inversion, walking backwards, talking backwards. It's an inversion type thing. Thelma and Louise, no, Thelema. I have so many tabs open that they're giving me a hard time. Hang in there with me. Thelema, and then we'll just look for imagery. And we'll see the XX. See that? The empires. There's an X, and there's an X. There's the double cross. You'll see it on Leviathan's cross. But the lemma has some pretty cool stuff that I'm not even mad about. The empires. Alright, back to the video. Okay, my friends, this is called, this is very Masonic, the rope and the knot. And then that goes through Judaism's Kabbalistic practice of the tefillin. Here we have it in Masonry. The rope with the knot. Here we have it. Just some more Masonry, unless you didn't believe me the first time. When I go through this, I don't want us to get so freaked out because it is a little bit scary. So I think we should, there's the rope and the knot, one side exposed. Now, interestingly enough, not so many times ago, we had a halftime show. Ha! It was busting rhymes. Oh. And we have Katy Perry doing that ritual. Thank you for hanging in there with me. I'm sorry. I'm not going back and editing this. Katy Perry, halfly exposed. The black and white checkerboard of the Masons. And then up here we have the cube of Saturn. 6 points, 6 triangles, 6-side hexagram. Because we get hexed in the beehive when we come here. And it's a matrix that runs off of Saturn through, I think, Venus to the moon. That's where we have the honeycomb matrix that we're stuck in. You could do the tefillin, where you bind yourself. This one brings all the elements together. We have the cube of Saturn. We worship on Saturn Day. And then we have, see, the tefillin, where they bind their arm. So you bind yourself into an agreement. Girl, find Shakira is like Shekinah, which is the divine feminine. We're gonna go to we had the pyramid at 243. What's that? 257. Okay, there we have more of the cube symbolism. And into it we give our emotions and our energy. So what you do, you set up your own. It's called Merkaba mysticism, your own chariot with the 4 fixed signs. And then through that you bring from Cancer, the sacred scarab, into the Capricorn. That's the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, where the Milky Way moves, and that gives us the line within the line, the fixed star, which also gives us our Capricorn and our six-pointed star. However, whenever. Also our Bluetooth symbol. See, there's a line coming down from the Tropic of Cancer at our summer solstice to the Tropic of Capricorn, the goat in hell. But it's also the top of the mountain because as above, so below. It's the inverse reverse. And there we have the fixed sign cross, which is the face of a man, the wings of an eagle. That's Aquarius, Scorpio. Something of a bull, Taurus. Then our other fixed sign, that's something of a lion. And that gives us our six-pointed star. Shout out to Lil Wayne's album that just dropped, Funeral, shortly after Kobe Bryant's death. Here's the text of the sigil of, or the sign of the Illuminati. See, it goes the same forwards and backwards. It's the inverse stuff that they do. However, whenever. And so this is more than just in the chosen people's religion. And this is more than just in Islam, how they go around the cube. The cubism is alive and well in Christianity. There's a black and white checkerboard. Salvador Dali was a major occultist. He knew this quite well. However, whenever. Here we have the goat alive and well on her freaking outfit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the upside down pentagram. It's stressing earth over heaven. And then the horns are separated, lost in the land of duality. We want to bring them together. That's what the sign of the unicorn is. That's the sign of Christ consciousness, who brings it all together. Where I went through that. I apologize. Here is the symbol. This is also in the center of St. Peter's Square. It's called the Cairo, and it's also the six-pointed star. However, whenever. Here is J.Lo on the top of World Trade Tower Center 1. For copyright, we have to be careful. 610. So here we are. Don't fight this new world order that we're trying to put you into. I don't even believe in this stuff. I know it's man-made, but they're using it. There is our cube within the cube, the tesseract. There we are, giving all our energy into it. Let the circuit, the Kirk Church that we put all our energy into, the Mother Church. Here's Mother freaking Babylon. And Babylon is so stupid. That's just stories. What's the name of my page? Tell me this doesn't look like World Trade Towers. Dog. That's World Trade. Oh my gosh, I lost my. Okay. Look at. Hey, shout out to Mark Passio. He's taught me a lot of this. Here we have the occult ritual that happened on September 11th. And what it was a breaking down of the pillars of Joachim and Boaz, the masculine, the feminine, and then their child, Osiris and Isis. The male is Osiris, the woman, Isis, number 2. And number 3 would be their child, Horus. And so we have to try to climb up this ladder from the dark to the light, navigated by the star in the middle, which is the brightest star in the night sky, Isis. Here on the right side of compassion and mercy, we have the moon in the dark, and then in the light, we have severity. And then here we have the black and white checkerboard. In the middle is the 7 chakras of your spine. World Trade Tower, 7 in the middle. And then the pentagram, which we like to do our magic in. Who owned this building, pray tell? Big shout out to No More News with Adam Green. Big shout out to Ryan Dawson of... So here, Solomon Brothers, they owned World Trade Tower 7 and 1 and 2 through the New Jersey Port Authority, New York Port Authority. The Kushners had a lot to do with that. Now, I say that because we have this of Westworld. Something has to do with transhumanism, roboticism. They have that in the last couple, like Lady Gaga and Beyonce dressed up as robots. Iron Man being that Christ figure who saves the whole world and sacrificed himself. Them trying to push this transhumanism. 9, 6, 9, 9, 2. Just the release date of this gives us 3 plus the 6, 9. 9 plus the 2, the 1, 1, 9, 11. But look at this.
Change that. For the first time, history has an author. A system.
System. System is a theme that's going to come up a lot. It has to do with Saturn. And here we have them predicting in 39. System initiated, undisclosed location, Solomon build, 06. Let's see, 8, 4, 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. Gives us 3. 3 plus 3 gives us 6. 6 plus 9. I don't see it. Sometimes you look for numerology, it doesn't show up. I bet you it's freaking there. So there's the all-seeing eye. And Saturn in his ring. So they try to predict a bunch of...
Miserable little band of thugs stumbling.
I bet you they're telling you... Bet you they're telling you what's going to happen.
But there's someone we have.
And anyways, they're just instilling fear in us. So lame. Here's Beyonce in her black and white checkerboard for 7/11, September 11th. Here we have her as the god Isis or Hathor, and we have a war against Isis. And there we have grabbing the bull by the horns, the bull of Taurus, who's Venus and Earth, who is Hathor. And there we have the matador, which is red blood sacrifice, where Mithra, we have the Mithraic occult schools that are about sacrificing, and it's the bull in Taurus through the gates of Gemini to get us to Cancer, which is the Milky Way going down to Capricorn. When the moon hits your eyes like a great pizza pie, that's amore. Thank you all for tuning in. Please make sure to like, subscribe, smash that like button. Here we have them turning the World Trade Tower 1 World Trade Tower Center, one world center. Very one world, new world order. Well, we just had Cuomo, hashtag Reproductive Health Act is now in law in New York State, where you lit the spire pink to celebrate. Como, One World Trade Tower pink to celebrate like late term abortions on the 9/11 memorial. Great, because this is sacrifice to the sacred feminine, which is the middle of this whole thing. And so we have pink on top of the World Trade Tower Center 1 representing abortion in late term. And you know who gets off on that stuff? The people who worship Satan, Kronos, who eats his own babies. Who is Remfram, the six-pointed star. It's inverting everything. More Saturn is who keeps the system in line, and we have Pluto and Saturn conjuncting. That is a breaking down of the system. And here we have at the Grammys saying it's a new decade, it's a new dawn, and it's alright with me, and I'm feeling good. You got the keys to the kingdom, dog? I purposely highlighted this before coming to it. Anyways, it's all about breaking down the system. Here we have, I'm saying that the system should be transparent. This is about the voting system for, and there was a sexual harassment thing that went on, a boys club thing. And here we have, hanging there with me, because she talks about breaking down the system. And that's just the theme. You're just going to have to trust me on that, because I don't want to lose your attention, because myself have limited attention. Okay, so there we are at 6:18. Now let's go to... We haven't had any of the black and white symbolism in here. The checkerboard. Oh, wait a second. Psych. We got it for you. And you know what they like to do? They like to mock like Christianity, which I don't believe in historical Jesus, but it's something that they do. They get off on. They do the mass backwards. Then here what they like to do, they like to shatter your brain and build it up in their image. Order out of chaos. So usually there's lots of shattering. Justin Timberlake's Super Bowl, we had like shattered shards of glass. Now we had that on her dress. Besides the point that they're low-key stealing your sexual energy. Not that I'm a prude or whatever, but that's what they do. And lots of green, that's your heart chakra. That's what they want to try to stop. Because your heart is like the way that you open up your brain. It's not from your crown or even your root up. It starts with your heart. The Emerald City. Green's the color of that chakra. Thinking of tonight. Whoa. Here we have your heart chakra getting broken. So that sometimes you need your heart broken to grow. There's truth in this, but I'm not sure if they're... The system breaking. Going into Abaddon, the abyss. Lots of XX symbolism. I think I already showed you a little bit of that. And of course, nothing is complete if we don't have either women in cages or children in cages. Preferably if we could have women, children in cages. A fiery pit, that's a theme. Here we have 1, 2, 3 hoops giving us a 6-pointed trap star hex that these kids are stuck in. Shout out to Venus. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. 18 is 6, 6, 6. 6 times 6 times 6 are 6-pointed star, or 6 triangles, or 6 sides. They just happen to give us 6 of 6-pointed stars. They give us 18. 6 times 3 is 18. Venus, her dark side, could be Lucifer, the bright and morning star. But there's also a beautiful side to her, that's love.
Every feeling, every beat can be so very sweet, you gotta taste it.
Shout out to J.Lo's daughter for singing better than her. We gotta get the twin pillars in here somewhere. Oh, what is that, pray tell? An altar on twin pillars. Now I like to bring this into iPet Go 2. We have the goat, Capricorn, who is the scapegoat. Here we have the imagery of Orion getting walked by Sirius, the star Osiris, which I just closed that tab. I'm an idiot for that. Tarot card, Fool, Orion, and Sirius. Right now she's in the night sky. In Capricorn, she's bright. And so that is us. See, we have the dog following the man. That's Orion. And there's Sirius. The sacred feminine. They turned her into a dog. Hence we call a woman a bia. Capricorn, the scapegoat, who we put our sins on and send him off into the wilderness or the desert to get sacrificed to the god Azazel. But you didn't know that we were sacrificing animals to demons in the Hebrew scriptures. Barcode on the forehead, mark of the beast. Black and white checkerboard. Him teaching the kids about iPet Go. Here we have Evol. See that? Love backwards, or involuting stuff. Here we have the 6-pointed star. Here we have the oil spill. Here we have the hurricane. There we probably have floods. There we have the Owl of Minerva, which Drake is famous for. Here we have some perverted stuff. A man hanging, presumably from a rope, missing one leg. Hence you have one leg up on a square, a block, a cube. There you have us pushing this fake story. Here we have your heart getting broke. See, and then we have it just turning into Barack Obama, just another actor. There we have the apple of life, Bell, that we bit into. There we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on one side, 6 on the other. Her in the middle, reminiscent of the Last Supper. The 6 seasons of fall and winter. The 6 seasons of spring and summer. The apple with its core is your core zone. It's red. And there's your heart chakra opening up, and they don't want you to have that. Here they have the Twin Towers coming down. breaking down of the temple of Joachim and Boaz so that they could build their own temple. Who wants to build this temple? The Templars, the Masonics, in which they have the Kabbalah mysticism involved. And they set up Islam, Al-Qaeda, as the fall because the family of the Saudis are actually the same as the family of those who run our greatest allies in the Middle East, ISIS, Ra, El. I'm not even sure what I could call them without getting my video banned. Bin Laden was a... Well, look, now our allies, Saudi Arabia, all of a sudden, who we blame for Shmime, Pine, Maleven. We love to sacrifice water and our earth. It's this... We have a war against ISIS, a war against terror. ISIS is like Mother Earth. Terra is Mother Earth. Here we have our heart chakra, and then we have our left eye. Our left eye is our masculine, and so we want to bring that to the feminine. And here we have the Temple Mount that is currently a mosque. They want to break it down and rebuild the third temple so that the Moshiach could come, or the return of Christ. But in order for the return of Christ to happen, you have to have the Antichrist come first. You see how brain messed up this stuff has got us? Where we make it self-fulfilling prophecy. Doesn't have to be like this. There's the Temple Mount being destroyed. Here's the sickle of Saturn, the hammer and the sickle drowning in a flooded heart. Here's the sacred feminine trying to stand up. Anubis is on the head of this because Anubis leads you into the underworld. It's also serious. There's that negative voice of Saturn in this material world that we have in our heads, and they're going for the children always. Here's a heart getting exposed. I guess that would be like the throat chakra. Here we have the old horror of Babylon, and then we have the dance still going on of Shiva around the sacred fire, which is Hestia. We had lots of fire in a circle, which goes back to Vesta and the Vestal Virgins who kept the flame alive in the temple. Here's the system getting broken apart. The system in cubes. We gotta break through with our heart, because they got our mind. Here's death in this relationship. That's Saturn and Venus is connected. It's gonna come up. Here's a young boy, a whirling dervish, which is the mystical part of that for here is Islam. That's a spiral energy going up your spire. And there we have the death, Saturn to the moon matrix. Here I have this fight with the wings, so it's like Isis. Here we have the sacrifice of the parish of Notre Dame, the Holy Mother, the Mother of Heaven. Another sacrifice on our sacred mother. Mother Earth, Mother Emotions, Mother Darkness. would like to end this on a good note. We could use these energies for good. The goat, we could choose to self-master ourselves and not look to master over others. Venus, we could choose to show love and not get lost in material, sensual love, but bring it to a deeper level. We create our own Merkaba mysticism, our own cube, that and fill it with love to reach out to the world. That's what we're taught to do. All right, I love you all so much. One day I'll start to get better. Perhaps. Probably not. It is what it is. Y'all know that we have that on our dollar bill? The 6-pointer star. It's a triangle with a triangle, the male and the feminine together. That's how we create our chariot, as I showed you with the cross and then the line down the middle. And that's how we get out this mother. And we end this with a good note. Let us come together in prayer. O great source, whom we are very much a part of and one with, and how we are all connected, we ask to infuse this with love and mercy and forgiveness, and let love survive and thrive, and let us keep our hope in our fellow man and our faith in goodness overcoming the dark. And we stand on the side of that, and we forgive the times where we fall short of that. And we ask for your help to show forgiveness and mercy to those who we feel have trespassed against us, because in such a manner we ask to be forgiven. Amen, alleluia, amen, Ra, Alleluia, Kala, Kabbalah, the Kaaba stone. Here's the grand architect of Saturn. Can't stop, won't stop. Saturn, the great architect, Joseph Set, Saturn, of the cube, of the Kaaba stone. The Lord of Earth, Capricorn, Saturn, who tempts Jesus on the top of the mount. You could have all these material things. We want to bring heaven into earth. We don't try to escape earth, the unhealthiness of it. We want to fully dive into it and embrace it and revive it and resurrect it. Amen. Hallelujah. Keep the faith.